sister-in-law's husband made anti-LGBTQ comments, even though I have two gay dads. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of me reacting to your wedding stories, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And we've got a special one for you today because it's kind of a where are they now type story. And I want to get to that in just a second. First things first, in case you missed it, my brand new book, Here Comes the Drama, a Ferris and Sloan story, is now available for pre-order. Now, just to be clear, this is pre-order for the ebook on Kindle only. Come June 12th, that book will be released to your Kindle or whatever device you're reading it on. And then you can also order the print book on June 12th. We also have it available on Kobo and then a few others that we're working on, but we'll update you soon. We are also releasing it part by part if you cannot wait for June 12th and just are so eager to start reading it. Now, that's not the completely finalized version. It doesn't like pull up on an e-reader, but you can read it as a PDF format that's going to come out every week. So as long as you're on my email list, you'll get all the updates and all of the links. All right, now on to today's story. I told you it's gonna be a little different than normal. We're gonna be doing more of a where are they now and answering some questions. So if you guys remember, there's a top skit called Elle and Vivian. Now this one, I guess, I think it went on for like 16 parts maybe, and there's talks of maybe a season 2, I'm not really sure, but it was inspired by a story that was sent to me. And now if you're new here, this is how stories work that are sent to me. I get a story, I kind of evaluate, okay, is this gonna be a short skit? Is it gonna drag on? Sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, it's a mini series, and I'll just start the characters based on the story to kind of get the storyline going. And then when there's a lot of interest, I will just kind of like keep dragging and like adding more to the story to make it a longer thing. You guys loved Elle and Vivian, and there was so much to it that I just kept adding more to the story. So Elle wrote back in to give us some more details and behind the scenes of what a lot of the questions she was seeing. So I'm going to read from her to give you guys a little more scoop on the Elle and Vivian story. And if you've not seen it, we'll link it below so you can watch the whole thing. And it's long, so brace yourselves, but it's really good. Okay, here we go. From the bride that brought you the Elle and Viv story series. Hey there, this might be weird, but I saw the Elle skit and it made me head to YouTube. And well, I guess I'm Elle. First off, I'm obsessed with Legally Blonde, so I'm a little excited that those are the character names you chose. There's a lot more context to the story, so it might feel a little bit all over the place, but it is what it is. My in-laws are just crazy. You honestly can't make this stuff up. So a little refresher for those that like probably listened to it but haven't seen it in a while. Elle and Vivian were sister-in-laws or about to be sister-in-laws. So they were engaged around the same time, and immediately there was a competition. Vivian wanted everything her way. She, made her wedding party about her. They didn't have time to attend the son's birthday. There's all this stuff going on, just animosity, and Vivian made things very difficult. She was a very unlikable character, put it that way. I didn't really get too much about the parents in the first one. The mom was kind of just more submissive to Vivian. So she was Vivian's mom and Emmett's mom. So there was 3 kids. Let me start with some common questions I saw in the comments. Mainly, why didn't anyone stick up for me? My father-in-law is usually quiet. I think the only time I've seen him really speak up was actually for me when I was pregnant. He and I are very similar, friendly and family-oriented. His family was always very respectful and kind to me. My husband did try to stand up for me when needed, but honestly, I didn't tell him everything. I didn't want to stress him out or cause issues while we were planning our wedding. As for the photo situation, I didn't feel like it was our place to dictate which family photos could or couldn't be taken, since it was their money and their photographer. Backstory. When I entered the picture, my husband's brother-in-law and his wife were expecting their first child. I met the family on Greek Orthodox Easter without knowing it was a big deal. My husband had never brought a girlfriend to any holiday before, let alone Greek Easter. So in my story, I did this completely different. The older brother-in-law was only mentioned one time in her story. So I just made him like that kind of crazy character that came to the bachelor party and stuff and was like an LA actor. So this is completely different. He's already married, had a baby. So when I walked in, I got a lot of attention. My father-in-law later told me, we knew from the beginning he was going to marry you, if you'd let him. The family asked a lot of questions that first day, some a bit intense, like how much money I make. What? Can you imagine just meeting someone? I mean, I wouldn't even ask like my closest friends that. Like that's such a personal question. If someone doesn't want to share, asking someone how much money they make when you first meet them. Wow. Where I see myself in 5 years and how many kids I want. These are all you don't ask, maybe where you see yourself in 5 years, that's kind of more open-ended, but even asking someone how many kids you want, maybe she doesn't want kids. Maybe she doesn't want to talk about that yet. Maybe she doesn't know yet. She's literally just started dating this guy. I'm used to direct questions. I have family on the spectrum, so I didn't take offense. But I think my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were upset that I got so much attention. Let's fast forward to the wedding aftermath. About a year after the wedding, we went to a birthday party for our niece. Our son was 9 months old at the time. At the birthday party, my brother-in-law didn't secure his dogs. They got out and peed all over our diaper bag. It could have been worse. They're not well trained, but still. Well, when I asked why they were even out, my brother-in-law told me to chill out. I took our son to the car, and that's when my mother-in-law came outside to talk me down. I finally snapped. I told her I was tired of being put in unsafe situations. I vented about everything, including the diabetic pump incident her daughter caused during the wedding. I told her, names have been changed. Pam, who do you think orders gifts for birthdays, sends cards, handles Mother's Day flowers? Who does the cooking? It's me. I keep the trains running. My husband is a hot mess. Nothing would function without me. I don't want credit. I don't need a parade, but I deserve some decent respect. Okay, so back to the wedding thing. I don't know if you guys remember this. She's diabetic, and her sister-in-law and mother-in-law told her to not wear a device that she needed to keep her healthy during the wedding. They didn't want it showing in pictures. And she's like, I'm not taking it off. I need that. Or they wanted her to like take it off and then wear Spanx underneath to kind of hide it a little bit more. I told her how I helped with the sister-in-law's wedding and never got a single thank you. So in the skit, Vivian tried controlling everything. She wanted to use Elle for every kind of thing in her wedding, but never thanked her and then never offered to help with her wedding. How her two other kids constantly disrespected me. Sister-in-law's husband made anti-LGBTQ comments, even though I have two gay dads. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot more to this. So you're coming into this family, they're making rude comments to you, they're putting you down, asking invasive questions, and you kind of just held on all this time, and now it's unleashing. That's terrible. Sister-in-law caused issues throughout our wedding and during her pregnancy. And then our dueling pregnancies. So that story is all about them getting married around the same time and now apparently dueling pregnancies. Okay, here we go. Due to my type 1 diabetes, we started trying to get pregnant right away. I found out in February that I was pregnant only 4 weeks in. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were thrilled. They threw us a small dinner. But the second we walked into their house, sister-in-law and her husband ignored me. Her husband made rude comments about the food I brought. After a few hours, they left early. Sister-in-law claimed that she had to prep lesson plans for Monday. It was a Sunday. I cried the whole drive home. It wasn't the lack of excitement, it was the unnecessary meanness. Then, exactly 4 weeks later, they announced they were pregnant too. Our babies had the same due date, 5 weeks apart. Mine came early, so now it's more like 7. The competition didn't end there. Despite being the first pregnant and high risk, sister-in-law was the center of attention. Her biggest drama was over the house they bought, over budget. Meanwhile, they stopped paying their share of our shared phone plan. My husband works for a cell phone company. Their part was only $50 a month. 4 months went by, and my husband asked them about the balance. Or they said we should gift it to them as a baby gift. Can you imagine this family? I don't know how she deals with them after all these rude comments, the constant comparison back and forth. Like, I don't know. I don't know how she's putting up with them. This is terrible. We had already given them a housewarming gift and a baby gift. Eventually, my mother-in-law covered it. If you guys remember too, there was a house situation. So they were making digs about Elle's house. Elle was engaged to Emmett. I'm saying they're like fake names, but there was a house situation too. They're making rude comments about their house saying, oh, it was so irresponsible for you guys to buy a house when you're still paying off student loans, but they were able to afford a house. They were well off. And then they had their own situation going on. Now, of course, as I always like to say, is I change a lot. So like that story is not completely true. The one I did, I added in a crazy bachelor party that was never said. I added in some crazy like cheating scandal that wasn't real. So take for this what it is. And then if I ever do a season 2, it's going to be completely different. But the passive aggressive comments about us being broke kept coming. I finally said, no, we're not broke. But if we weren't giving you our employee discount, you would be. And yeah, we have loans, but at least our parents don't have to cover our bills. They never brought it up again. Final note, my mother-in-law says I'm too sensitive. I hate this. I hate when people say that. I'm someone that's been told that my whole life, that I'm too sensitive or too emotional. And I'm like, so I care about things. Like, just because you don't care about it in the same way I do, or I feel a certain way about it, doesn't make me too sensitive. It means that I just care more about it than you. If it was something that you cared more about and you're upset, you have every right and you're valid in your feelings. But to call someone sensitive because they care about something more, I don't know. 2 years ago, I told her I was lightening up by no longer handling family gifts. That's on her son now. I still help with gifts for the kids. They're great. They love their cool aunt and fun house. Props to her. If you're doing it all, hand it over to your son. I find that a lot of times that they put the pressure on the woman. They'll be like, oh, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Ask your son. I don't know. Okay, one more thing. We actually had a Justice of Peace wedding shortly after we got engaged. We kept it quiet because we wanted our wedding date to match our anniversary, which is in December. This year, my father-in-law let it slip. Mother-in-law called my husband in a fury while we were at our anniversary dinner. He had to block her mid-meal. That is like something that you would see in a skit. Also, at that point, it's years later. Like, who cares that they actually got married together before everybody else? That's kind of funny, actually, because it's similar to the Ferris and Sloan thing. And I didn't read this story, obviously, until after, but where they get, they get married. And if you haven't listened, spoiler alert, and the mom gets so up in arms about it. We didn't hide it. Our friends and family knew, but apparently she didn't. It really made for one memorable anniversary. That is insane. I don't know how she does it, dealing with that kind of drama and competition every time she's with her family. That's a lot. Like I said, I know I kind of jumped all over the place. Well, the story kind of did, but she was answering a lot of the key questions. So if you are confused, go back and watch the Elle Vivian skit. Like I said, it might be like about an hour. So you can watch part by part. I think we do have a playlist for it because it's so long. Otherwise, it's at the top of the wedding drama playlist. But it was a good one. Again, remember that I changed a lot. So the first two are more in line, and then I kind of go crazy with some stuff because that's just how my brain works. But wow, thank you for sharing that update with us. If anyone else has updates as they're watching and they're like, oh, I think that's me in the story, I'm going to send you an update. I'd love to hear it. That's pretty crazy. I wonder, because it says he blocked his mom the mid-dinner, so I'm wondering if she's still blocked or if it was just during that. I've got lots of more questions. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you next time. Bye now.